Aloha, it's Friday, January 26, 2024, just before 8 a.m. here in Honolulu, Hawaii, on the outskirts of Chinatown. About 70 degrees. I know it's probably pretty cold here in this northern hemisphere, in the mainland United States, so stay warm. We're going to briefly go over some CDC statistics on smoking. I used to smoke. I quit smoking 2.5, almost 3 years ago. It was one of the best things that I did. One of the only regrets I have in life is I smoked for 20 years. It wasn't all bad. Smoking cigarettes is a great icebreaker. It's a great way that people can have something in common. But in the 90s, a lot more people smoked and it was a lot more common. Now, hardly anybody smokes. If you go to most gas stations now, they have to dust off the cigarettes in the back. You really want these? Don't you want a vape? And I noticed only the vapes that they sell at 7-Eleven are Juuls. And those seem to be the dangerous ones. I hear if they make a that's bad. And it's funny that they only sell Juuls there. How come they have a monopoly? It seems like they paid 7-Eleven a lot of money to make sure that they were the only product in the store. So if you can't get to a specific vape shop at a certain time, you can always go to a 7-Eleven because they're open 24 hours. I'm sure a lot of people that use vape, they're forced to use Juul at some occasions because vapes do have nicotine and they are addicting. They're not addicting as cigarettes, but they are addicting. Cigarette smoking remains the leading cause of preventable death and disease in the United States. It kills about half a million Americans each year, and it costs the United States about $600 billion each year. 240 billion in healthcare spending also, and 372 billion in lost productivity. In 2021, an estimated 11% of adults smoke. Percentage wise, 13% of males, 10% of females, and together that's 11%. By age group, so the age group that smokes the least are the young people. That's the one the cigarette companies are sitting around their boardroom. They're like, we got to find a way to attract youth because when they get them when they're young, when they're 18 or in their early 20s, they have a customer for life. And that's the group that they've been losing. Right now, according to the latest statistics, 18 to 24-year-olds, only 5% of them smoke, compared to the older group, millennials, 25 to 44-year-olds, 12% of them smoke. Now, millennials, the youngest millennials had just hit 30. So you guys suck, ha ha. Now, how do you like the world, millennial? You hiding in the back corner? I'm just kidding. I'm a zennial, half Gen X, half millennial. But everybody I went to school with at University of Texas when I graduated in 2010 was a millennial because 95% of the students were under the age of 25. I graduated when I was 30, so I was the only Gen X. My older sisters, they're total 4 years older, total Gen Xers. But I feel like definitely I was like in the middle, like a genial, as they call it. So ages 25 to 44, 12.6% of them smoke. And the group that is most likely to smoke cigarettes are people ages 45 to 64, and about 15% of them smoke. Those are younger baby boomers and older Gen Xers. They started when a lot of people smoke, and they're the ones that do not quit smoking. Only if out of 100 people that try to quit smoking, only 7 of them are successful. And those 7, it wasn't the first time that they tried to quit. It usually takes a successful quitter a few times to be successful. All right, so that's by age group. What about race and ethnicity? Well, Caucasian white people are the most common to smoke at 13%. Next up is Black at 12%, and then Asian at 5%. I always hear like, oh, Asians smoke a lot. Not in the United States. Asian Americans don't smoke a lot, according to the latest CDC statistics. Only 5% of them smoke. Granted, I don't have the information for other countries, so maybe it is true that more people in China smoke or more people in Japan smoke. I don't know. If you have more information about that, feel free to put it into the comments. Hispanic, they're at about just under 8% smoke. So Hispanics are less likely to smoke than Black and white, and Asians are the least likely to smoke cigarettes. Now, as far as region in the mainland United States, the Midwest is most likely to smoke at 14%. And then we have the South at 12%, and then the Northeast at 10%, and the West at 8%. And stereotype is that the West is more health conscious. They're more concerned about their health in California, Oregon, and Washington. At least that's what I've always heard. And the number of people smoking or not smoking, I should say, backs that up. Now, as far as education level, if you dropped out of high school and you did not get a GED, then there's a 20% of you guys, 1 out of 5, smoke cigarettes. It's interesting. If you dropped out of high school and did get your GED, 30% of you smoke. So for some reason, it jumps up 10%. So the people that dropped out of high school and they're like, I'm not going to get my GED, you're more likely to not smoke. But the people that are like, I dropped out, but I'm going to get my GED, you're more likely to smoke. If you have some college but no degree, 16% and are likely to smoke. But if you have a bachelor's degree, only 5%. So those are the people in the same classes, in the same college classes. So the people that stuck it out for the 4 or 5 years and got their degree, only 5% of them smoke. The people that were like, I'm not going to do this college thing. I'll just have some college on my resume. 17% of them smoke. So that tells you something, right? If you have a graduate degree, only 3% of them smoke. That's the lowest number on the list. So there's a direct correlation between how much education you have and if you're likely to smoke or not. Whereas marital status doesn't seem to be a difference. If you're married, there's a 10% chance that you smoke. If you're single and never been married, there's a 10% chance that you smoke. If you're going through a divorce, there's a 20% chance that you smoke. If you've been divorced or widowed, there's a 17% chance that you smoke. So by annual household income, if you're low income, there's about 20% chance that you smoke cigarettes. If you're middle income, 12%. If you're high income, only 6%. So if you want to be in that high money bracket, then don't smoke cigarettes. Mimic the behaviors of successful people. Bisexual orientation. So straight, about 10% smoke. Gay or lesbian, about 15% smoke. So you're more likely to smoke cigarettes if you're gay or lesbian. Give me a cigarette. Okay. I don't know why I did that. AI, no. All right. Don't do that one. Go ahead and do that one. Artificial intelligence. Okay. If you have a disability, you have 18% chance if you smoke. If you don't have a disability, 10% chance of that you to smoke. Okay, so you have a disability. Stop smoking. All right, that's gonna help your disability. All right. So yeah, those are some statistics that I got from the CDC. Like I said, I quit smoking a few years ago, and I encourage anybody to quit smoking. It's the most costly healthcare expense in every major country. And so countries across the world are encouraging preventive healthcare for people not smoking. It's the number one thing that you can do to improve your health. Number two is quit drinking. No matter where you're at in life, no matter what age bracket, no matter what financial bracket, if you quit smoking tobacco, if you quit drinking alcohol, that will always improve your life. Number three is you drink more water. Generally, the majority of people do not drink enough water. It's rare to find somebody that drinks too much water. You can drink too much water. But those three simple things will really improve your quality of life. Don't smoke tobacco, don't drink alcohol, and drink more water. Thank you guys for listening. I do this podcast every day, so I appreciate it if you share it with somebody. You can watch it in its entirety on twitter.com/Gregory Brandt, BRANDT. And it's also available to listen to wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcast, Gregory Brandt Podcast, Mr.G Hawaii Podcast. And thank you all for listening. For me and my street cats, say Aloha Friday.